Wagwan Generals, we're back. I got the Canada gear on today, which is going to be to the dismay of some of our followers. But big Canada USA game happened on Sunday. Came out with the win. Beautiful finish from Jonathan David there, Ciaran. It was unreal. Turn to the left and a pot back post. So we're having our Canadian pride out today. I guess we're not getting annexed anytime soon. So
Aneil, don't
we,
speak that into existence.
yeah, I gotta hold that. We've been good, man. Like normally to the states, like especially in soccer, we lose a lot. But like Four Nations, we will beat the states.
For the
Canada
basketball, we beat
basketball
them
beat the
last
states.
time. Yeah, bro, we've been
Yeah,
we've been cooking.
we're
You
live right
you
now,
love to
and
see
we
it.
hey man, some of our best friends are American. Our best listeners are American. Some of them, like yeah, we love America. At least I do. But right now we're sitting pretty. We're sitting pretty right now. Anyways, so. We have a bunch of stuff to go over. Stockholm regionals happened last weekend, but I don't think many people are too into that. Like it's kind of last regional of the format. No one really
No,
cares.
there's one
We
in
got
Brisbane this weekend, Aneil. But yes, I think most
oh, is
people
there?
are moving on. Yeah, I think most people are moving
Okay.
on. Uh,
Yeah, I think there's a lot of post rotation talk around right now. Really disappointed to kind of see how Journey Together kind of happened yesterday. Well, I guess 2 days ago on Monday. I don't know, Kieran, if you saw those lines
oh,
outside of
on
every
the
card store in
Pokemon side. Oh
Toronto.
yeah, you sent me a photo of like people lining up outside of card stores. I'm like, this is getting insane. Like, I don't think I've
Bro,
ever seen that.
mans were camping from like 10 p.m. the night before for a 12 p.m. release. It's like, guys, this is not like I don't know what people are doing. They're just like,
Maybe I don't know. Maybe I'm out of touch, but I feel like you could literally just like get a normal job and make more money than just like sitting outside all day, like all
yeah.
night. Like I don't know. Like
I will say the Costco guys are making a good amount of coin. Like, so if you get to the Costco and you buy those boxes at like $70, they're flipping them for like 180. So it's pretty good. You're making a good amount of coin, but just get a job, man. Just stop scalping Pokemon cards, please, for the love of God. So I hope y'all got a chance to open some Journey together because there's a lot of people out there trying to ruin it for us right now. But yeah, when the set comes out, singles shouldn't be too expensive. The set's nothing too crazy in my opinion. But a set that does look kind of sick is the Team Rocket set. So we got some new leaks this week. Maybe we can take a look at some of these cards, and then we're gonna do a post-mortem for all the cards we're losing to rotation. I'm really excited for that. I got a lot of speeches lined up, but yeah, maybe we can start with Team Rocket here.
yeah, I mean, shout out as always to Twan, giving us the translations. They're always carrying the community on that front. So I feel like the Team Rocket set has been pretty hyped. I think we all thought Rockets Mewtwo had the potential to be our next busted card, and we've kind of seen. I don't think we've seen the whole Rockets package, but we've seen a lot of the Rockets cards. There's actually even some more released today, this morning on Tuesday. So we're gonna run through them. I think the most recent one was the Team Rockets Ampharos. Its ability is when your opponent plays a Pokemon from their hand to evolve a Pokemon, you put 4 damage counters on that Pokemon. And they said it doesn't stack. But I guess if it's stacked, like maybe if your opponent evolves to stage 1 and just like gets knocked out immediately.
160, just
Yeah, can
die.
you imagine? Just knockout.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's
Yeah.
like it's an okay card. It's a stage 2 support Pokemon that doesn't do anything immediately. So I don't think it's gonna be like that strong. I saw some people were excited to like try this with the Ursaluna that does extra damage based on how many damage counters they have. Because like if they have 4 damage counters on them, I think it's an extra 120 or something. So yeah.
This is kind of a cool effect because a lot of decks can't deal with this without evolving, right?
Yeah.
So you kind of have to play into this. One thing I also really like about this card is it has 140, not 130, so you can't just dust snore it into oblivion, which is really cool. I don't know if this is gonna be that good, but I mean, I love Ampharos. I'm a huge Ampharos guy. Seeing it evil as a Rockets Pokemon is kind of sad to me, but I will always support Ampharos. So hopefully they see some play somewhere.
Yeah, I think one other thing we'll get to the Mewtwo. The Mewtwo does 280, so like 40 damage to like a Dragapult when it evolves or something. That's enough to get it in range. So maybe
Yeah,
this is good
absolutely.
enough to help. Also, do you know what this commander's name is? It's not Mars, is it? I don't know. It's Galactic, right?
I can't even really see it. It's kind of small on my
I,
screen.
I forget this girl's name. She's from Gold and Silver, I
I,
think.
from Gold and Silver, I don't know.
I can't remember her name. Does the Mareep do anything? Search your deck. Oh, Mareep's like actually not horrible. Search your deck for an item card, reveal it, put it in your hand. I mean, if you go
Buddy
second,
Puffin. Is that 80 HP or 60?
60, you still buddy for it.
Okay, nice.
Yeah. I was playing like the ends deck yesterday for like testing, and I didn't realize for like the first 2 games that Darumaka had 80 health, and I was just like buddy popping it. So I'm
You're
like,
just budding for it?
yeah. So I'm like, oh, like they actually have to make sure they give our guys like right health.
It is kind of crazy how many Pokemon I'm seeing now with ADHP.
Yeah.
There's it seems like they're kind of turning a corner here. They're like, yeah, Buddy might be a little too good here.
I don't know. I
It's
think
interesting.
they should just make everything 70. All right. So we have Team Rocket's Porygon Zed. Ability, you can discard 2 cards from your hand in order to use this. Once during your turn, draw a card. And its attack is 20 damage for each Team Rocket supporter in the discard. That just seems like too little damage to ramp properly, and then like you're actually getting like negative card advantage from like its ability. Like you're like losing a card effectively.
Not huge on this card.
I'm not huge on this card. I don't think it's very good. Like if it was a stage 1, like maybe, but like even then. I mean the Porygon 2 has the same attack. It costs 3 energy though. It just seems like with how big Pokemon are, like HP wise this day, like these cards aren't gonna be very good, in my opinion.
Pretty underwhelming.
Yeah, this card I think is gonna be good. The Team Rocket's Receiver. Search your deck for a supporter with Team Rocket in its name, reveal it and put it in your hand. We'll go over the Team Rocket supporters, but this is obviously like really good. This item card that searches a supporter. Like imagine if Pokegear basically just said like pick what supporter you want. And Pokegear sees a lot of play, right? In a lot of decks. And Team Rocket has, from what we've seen, a lot of strong supporters. So I think even if the Pokemon aren't the strongest for Team Rocket, like the package that they're gonna get is like really strong like, in terms of support. And this is like definitely one of the best cards for it. It kind of reminds me of a Holland's Transceiver. I guess it's actually technically worse than that, but that card was one of the best cards ever. So
yeah, because that one you can get from the discard as well, right?
It was discard or deck.
That's ridiculous. This is still pretty good though. You get anything out of deck, you know your counts, like you know what's in your deck anyway. So
yep,
that's pretty good.
All right, this card is also pretty strong. The Team Rocket energy. It can only be attached to Team Rocket's Pokemon. While this card is attached to a Pokemon, it provides 2 to any combination of Psychic and Darkness. That's like insane, right? Like double Turbo, double Colorless have been some of the strongest energies we've seen. 2 like colored energy, like that is super strong. And we also like have seen this in the past. There's a Team Rocket's energy that you had to discard at the end of your turn that had like the same effect. So this one just like gets to stay in play. So any Team Rocket Pokemon, like you can kind of maybe cheat with like energy acceleration a little bit, or if there's any attacks, like even like Mega Gardevoir EX we saw, right, where it's like it does more damage for each like Psychic can play. Like you can just slap these into play and help attacks that need more energy. So I think this card's really good.
Yeah, just like a direct reprint of Rapid Strike energy, I guess, just with different types.
Yeah, exactly.
Pretty good. I mean, like historically, these kinds of cards have always been good, and I mean they're gonna obviously have to power balance the Rockets Pokemon now just because of how good this card is. But I'm sure that was built into their plan.
Yeah,
but,
I'm sure it's
I mean, this is definitely gonna see play. Like, this is kind of broken.
Alright, we have Team Rocket's Archer. You can only use this card if one of your Team Rockets Pokemon were knocked out during your opponent's last turn. Each player shuffles their hand into the deck. You draw 5. Your opponent draws 3. So,
why does Team Rocket need an Archer? What are they doing?
That's just the guy's name, bro.
Oh, it's the dude's name.
Yeah, he's one of the admins.
I thought he was like shooting mans with arrows. I'm like, yeah, you guys are doing that in the Pokemon world? That's kind of crazy. Like your opponent sends out like a Growlithe, there's a guy just trying to hit it with an arrow. Like that's kind of cruel. So I'm glad it's just his name and he's not an actual archer.
Yeah.
This is like Marnie at home, I guess, or N at home. It's actually Roxanne at home. It's like kind of, I don't know. It seems a little underwhelming, but it's searchable with receiver. So I mean, that's pretty good.
I mean, like, we know how strong Unfair Stamp is, right? And this is a supporter, but it's kind of like Unfair Stamp. You can play like as soon as turn 2.
Sorta, yeah.
In the past, we've seen like Ace Trainer had a similar effect, but it was like 6 and 2. But it actually had Roxanne's effect, kind of. So this might just be like a nice one of if you're playing like the Team Rocket's Transceiver. You just pull this out like early in the game if it makes sense. Try and disrupt.
Yeah, I wonder if Team Rocket's gonna get a good ace spec for them too, because you could also play just Stamp and play this, and you've effective like 2 or 3. Well, you've Stamp, and then you have like Boneless Stamp after. It's just this thing. It's hopefully gonna carry you the rest of the way if you need a refresh. Because like one of the most like sad things as a Stamp player, if you're ever playing Stamp, is like you Stamp someone and they just draw into research. You're like, okay, there goes my ace spec, literally for nothing, right? So at least you have this archery guy to help you out later.
Yeah, so I think it's like decent as a one of. Oh, this is her name, Ariana. So Team Rocket's Ariana. Draw cards until you have 5 in your hand. If all of your Pokemon play are Team Rocket's Pokemon, draw until you have 8 in your hand instead. I mean, we'll get to the Mewtwo. The Mewtwo's effect requires a lot of Team Rocket's Pokemon in play, and Team Rocket does have support Pokemon. So this does seem pretty good. It does have like anti-synergy if you want to play like Fez in your deck type of thing. But no, this seems very strong as well. Like even early game, right? Like you just get your guys set up and play this, draw a bunch of cards.
Yep.
Yeah, I think 1 or 2 copies with the Rocket's Transceiver makes sense for this card.
Yeah, I've never even seen this character, so I don't know. I was surprised that their name is Ariana. I've never heard of them.
You haven't played Heart Gold Soul Silver?
I have. I just don't remember this.
That's where she and Archer are from. I'm pretty sure.
Okay. I don't know. I was too concerned with my Pokewalker, I guess.
They're not the Pokewalker, man. They don't make games like they used to.
I know. I still have both of mine. I used to walk to Pickering League to play cards with my Pokewalker so I could get Pokemon and cards. It was genius.
Nice. Okay, this is probably the most broken supporter that Team Rocket gets. It's switch your active Rockets Pokemon with one of your benched Rockets Pokemon. If you do, switch one of your opponent's bench Pokemon with their active. So they just reprinted Guzma with Team Rocket's Pokemon. I think we all know how strong Boss's Orders is. Guzma is even stronger. It's Boss plus you get a switch effect. So also, like, Boss might rotate eventually, and if it does, like, this could be like an archetype that's a huge advantage that you get access to a Gust effect that other decks don't. So
Been a very long time since we've had a bossless format. Now that I think about it, I remember. Well, this is kind of crazy because now you can play like 9 Gusts in your deck if you really wanted to. 4 Boss, 4 Giovanni, and then a Prime Catcher. But I do remember back in the day there was there's a format. Do you remember this, Ciaran, where it was just Pokemon Reversal, where all you had
I
to
do
flip a
know.
coin of heads, Gust. Like this kind of reminds me of that. If Boss were to rotate, then you have to play Rockets if you want any sort of Gust, or you think about what was the other one? POW Hand Extension
Yeah,
from
we had Custom Catcher for a while.
Custom Catcher. There's been a lot of formats actually like
Yeah.
that. It'd be kind of cool to have a bossless format. So maybe that comes into fruition. That'd be kind of cool.
Yeah, I agree. I think it's been a while, and like it makes the game a little more interesting when you have to work for your Gust. So, yeah. All right. Team Rocket's Persian EX. We're gonna see some of the Pokemon here. Its first attack for 2 colorless Haughty Orders. Your opponent reveals the top 10 cards of their deck. You can choose an attack from a Pokemon you find there and use it as this attack. Your opponent shuffles the revealed cards back into their deck. It's like interesting.
What does haughty mean?
I don't know. Let's look it up.
What is that word? Like, is that just like a loose translation, or what are we doing here?
Arrogantly superior and disdainful.
There you go.
A look of haughty
Just like
disdain.
how some kids learn their multiplication tables from Pokemon. I'm learning a basic English apparently from Pokemon. Haughty Orders. Okay. I mean, this seems kind of interesting because it's 10 cards. It's 1/6 of your deck, so you're getting a good selection of like Pokemon to choose from. And you don't have to discard them or anything. So maybe this could be good. I don't know.
I mean, it's like random, so like your opponent can play around this by just preemptively putting the Pokemon in their hand or discarding them. And then I feel like I'd rather just like use my good attack that I build my deck to use than like chancing it on my opponents. Yeah. I think it's a cool card, like design wise. I don't know. I can't see this being very good.
You can also use Rocket's like double energy to power this up in one shot. So I mean,
that is true. Yeah.
I don't know. Maybe I like these like random cards.
Yeah.
It seems it could be interesting.
Yeah. All right. Next up, we have Rocket Spidops. I don't know why Team Rocket has a Spidops. I mean, he does seem like, or it does seem like a Pokemon Team Rocket would have, I guess, but they didn't. This guy didn't exist.
What kind of universe are we in right now? Yeah, this did not exist.
So its ability is pretty good. Once during your turn, you can attach a basic energy from your discard pile to this Pokemon, and then the attack Grass Colorless does 30 damage for each of your Team Rocket Pokemon in play. So you can do like 180 on a 1-prizer pretty easily. So pretty good to trade with other 1-prize decks, 1-prize Pokemon. But the ability is definitely solid, right? Like, you don't even need to use this in Team Rocket's decks. Like, we've seen a lot of decks use E-Switch as their engine with Teal Mask Ogerpon. So this kind of gives like another engine for a lot of decks, I think.
The only thing that bothers me about this is the cross generation of this. Like, this is like saying like Nick Nurse's Michael Jordan. Like, what the hell is this, man? These things do not. They don't work. This is really cool though. I really like the idea of Naganadel being reprinted into a Pokemon that's in a format with Energy Switch, where Energy Switch is one of the forefronted cards, and you're also a Grass type, which is pretty good right now. You can play with Ogremon if you need to, or get some stuff powered up pretty fast. So, yeah, no, definitely like this, and I like the fact that named the ability Charge Up again. That's class.
Yeah. You know what's the name of the guy he evolves from?
Taruntula.
Taruntula, nice.
Yeah.
Next, we have Team Rocket's Meowth illustration rare. I like the art on this one. Choose a random card in your opponent's hand. They reveal that card, shuffle it into the deck. I mean,
Kitty yoink.
That's like whatever. All right, and then here we have the star of the show that we've been waiting for, the Team Rocket's Mewtwo EX. So its ability is it can't attack unless you have 4 or more Team Rocket's Pokemon in play. Its attack for Psychic Colorless, 160. You may discard up to 2 energy from your bench Pokemon. It does 60 more for each discarded this way.
So immediately, if Expanded ever comes back, this card is a problem. you just path yourself, and then you're like, all right, I'm going crazy. But like, so the power level on this is interesting to me. I think it's at least to me, upon first glance, I don't anticipate it being that broken. I know people are really hyping this thing up, but I mean, like 280 is your cap. You have 3 energy attack, which is kind of weird to get to as well. I'm not too sure how I feel about this card. 280 on a basic though, kind of ridiculous.
Yeah, I think the health is like insane, and then like we have the Spide Ops we showed, so that's obviously going to be like the engine. And
Yeah.
then I mean, like doing 280 is not trivial. That's a lot. Like you're pretty much knocking out all the like non-evolving EXs.
Hmm.
And then I don't know, maybe Ampharos helps you get that extra damage you need to like get through a Dragapult, get through a Charizard stuff. Actually, that wouldn't get through Charizard still, but to get through other evolutions, right?
Yeah.
So
And there's not much in terms of dark Pokemon that I think you have to really worry about. Like Fez, like who cares? It's not even one-shotting you. Like what else is there? Like
no, unless Roaring Moon.
Okidogi EX,
Yeah, okie
Roaring
dokie.
Moon. I don't
Yeah.
know. Like maybe there's something in the format. Like, I remember when Mew VMAX got good and people found that Evolving Skies Moltres, the
Yeah.
one that attached to
Roaring
itself, and
Moltres,
just
yeah.
kind of took the prize trade there. So if this card is good, expect a random one prize dark Pokemon that could one shot this to come out in the next set. But if it's just whatever, then yeah, this just seems pretty good.
Yeah, I think it'll be solid. Just
It's
like
good, not broken, I think.
yeah, 280 just on a basic is like insane. I think that's a lot for
Hmm.
it, right? Yeah. So yeah, that's Team Rocket stuff. It looks pretty good so far. Like the engine it's gotten is insane, and then we haven't even seen all the cards yet. So if it gets even more, so I guess Team Rocket's not really a trainer Pokemon because it's a whole team. So, but definitely the best
Yeah,
of like the trainer Pokemon we've seen so far. So, yeah.
certainly.
Now
Now we
you
get to the
the fun
cream of the
part.
crop here. Yeah.
We have this tier list. I don't know who made it. Made by MG Toussaint. So go check them out, I guess, on Twitter.
Hmm.
Thank you for making this tier list that we're going to use. So yeah, Neil and I are basically just going to go through each card and we'll rank it on how much we're going to miss it or how much we enjoyed it, I guess. We have S tier, A tier, B tier, C tier, and the shift gear staple, the Peoria tier, for the worst of the
Oh
worst.
God. Yeah.
Uh,
I can read the comment in my head already, down
so
below under this video.
yeah.
Stop roasting Peoria.
We have a
We're
lot
making
of
a Brampton tier one time.
no, don't disrespect Brampton like that. We have to
It's
have
the worst.
no Peoria tier is reserved for that. All right, we don't spend a lot of time on each card, Neil, but if there's some that we want to spend a little extra time on, we will. So
Sure.
we'll go in order here. Then we have like the section with all of these, which I think will be the most fun. Then the trainers at the end there. So I'll start with Manaphy, Neil. How do you feel about Manaphy? I feel like Manaphy is just like a
Don't care.
solid card. I'm not gonna miss Manaphy really.
Yeah, I legitimately don't care.
You know what, Manaphy, you can go in C tier. We're not really gonna miss you that much. I know like the next
It's
format
just,
we don't have bench barrier,
yeah,
but you know,
it's such a like replicable. Is that a word? Replicable? I
I
don't
think
know.
so.
Whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's such like an easy ability to reprint is what I'm trying to say. They're like this card specifically doesn't mean anything to us because we've seen this card like 50,000 times in the history of the TCG, and then I was informed that there's a Shaman coming out that does the same thing
Yes.
next
It's
set.
80 health.
So
No, I
I
mean,
guess we'll miss it for like 3 months, and then that's it.
yeah. I'm of the opinion I actually prefer when the format doesn't have basic bench barriers, as long as there's no broken snipe. Like Greninja cannot exist in a format without Manaphy. But
Yeah.
I like formats a lot better when like bench snipe is a viable strategy. I think it's really really fun. But unfortunately, what happens is they print a broken snipe effect. Like, all right, we need Manaphy now. So I just think it's personally bad game design when they need a card like Manaphy. So I'm not gonna miss it. So a
Like
card,
Ogremmon's gonna run rampant for 3 months, right?
yeah, exactly. And then I've been looking at Japan results ever since Shaman came out. Now all of a sudden, Terrabox is like down the tier list. So, yeah, cool. All right, and the card I will miss is the Bibarel.
Me too.
For me, I would even put this in S tier of how much I'm gonna miss Bibarel. Like,
I got it at like A, but I mean, if you really feel inclined, we can go to S.
all
The
right,
reason why I
S.
wouldn't put it in S personally is because of the fact that like Revavroom exists, Iono's Kilowattrel exists. Like there are cards that kind of do similar
Bro, but they're
things
so
now.
bad compared to Bibarel.
Oh, I know, but I mean, like the card effect still kind of does exist. But I mean, I agree with you. Like Octillery, I remember Octillery in the past from Breakthrough. It was a big draw 5 card. Bibarel, big draw 5 card. I know it hits different for you with Chen Pao. The card was just good, really good consistency crutch. I always wished it didn't have 2 retreat, so it could be used a little bit
Yeah,
more widely. And the other thing too is like it got really bad when Snorlax came out because its attack just sucks. Even if they made the attack like base 80, it would have been
and don't
all
flip a
right. So
coin.
I feel
Yeah,
like it would have, yeah, it would have seen more play.
yeah. I don't know, every time I test post rotation, I'm like, man, like if Bibarel existed, it would be so good in this deck. Instead, I'm playing
I have
Dedunsparce.
heard you say that multiple times,
Yeah.
actually.
So.
All right, S tier Bibarel. Probably the only tier, like we probably made the only tier list with the Bibarel and S tier,
No,
but
I think
I'm here
people
for
love
it.
Bibarel, man. All right, next up we have Ralts and Kirlia. Ralts, like,
Yeah.
I really do not. Here, I'll put C tier because I guess this helps you beat control. But Kirlia,
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna put an A tier. I personally had a lot of success with Gardevoir. I think without Kirlia, like Gardevoir gets a huge nerf in like the next format. I don't know. I like Bibarel better than I like Kirlia. I really did enjoy Kirlia. For me, it's an A tier. Neil, what about
I'm
you?
I'm swapped on that one from you. I enjoy Curly more than Bibarel,
All right,
but
S
I
tier
will
then.
say no. But I will
Let's put
say
it
I
in
think
S
it
tier.
belongs in A tier. I think it belongs in A
All
tier
right.
because I also think Bibarel belongs in A tier, but nonetheless, because I think Gardevoir survives rotation. I think it does. Not by much, but I think it is still a viable deck. So off the back of that, I think if Gardevoir just died immediately when Curly rotated, we put it in S, but I think it belongs in A.
All right, we'll put it there.
Yeah.
All right, Cresselia, Neil. Where's Cresselia go for you?
This is actually one of my favorite cards.
Yeah, I like
I'm gonna
Cresselia
miss this
too.
one a lot. Yeah, I think we put this in A.
Hey Terry, I agree. It's just like a solid,
Yeah.
fun card. I think the matchups where it was used was always stuff like Lost Box, Lost Tina, Dragapult. Matchups where like they're very intricate matchups, and I think Cresselia was a card that helped make those matchups intricate. So I think for sure I'm putting an A tier in terms of
When I think
performance.
of Cresselia, I immediately think of Paradox format, where like
Yeah,
Gardevoir versus Lostina was such an intricate matchup. And I know I mentioned this multiple times, but
yeah,
Cresselia was like a star of that show. So Cresselia gets a high pass from us.
I agreed. All right, next up we have the Lost Box cards. So we'll start. Actually, let's start with Comfy. Where would you put Comfy?
Do you think they'd all go in the same tier? I feel like they
Well,
would,
I feel
right?
like
Because
some of
they
them
all,
are like they're like different. Like I feel like a lot of people don't like Sableye. Like I personally don't like Sableye.
but they all coexisted. Like there was never a comfy deck without Sableye or Cram, was there?
I think a couple times like people would play without Sableye or Cram, but yeah, for the most part, like Comfy was like always in it.
I think for me, at least personally, I'll say my opinion, then you can say yours. I think they all belong in A tier. Like I always thought Lost Engine was like a very cool one prize engine, enabled a lot of Pokemon just to be good. Um, to me, like the whole engine goes in A tier because I thought it was one of the coolest things when it came out.
I mean, I think Comfy I'm fine 8. I don't know, Sableye, I feel like Gate kept evolving ducks for such a long time, especially when we were in the Turbo Lost Box era. Like you could just
Mm,
turn 2 Sableye if you went first, and then it's just like I can't bench my evolving Pokemon. For that reason, I think Sableye is like a B tier.
I'm okay with that.
Yeah. Ram. You can
Cram
put
was
an
just
8.
cool.
He's like fine. Whatever.
Yeah,
Kind of an
I
A
think it's
tier.
probably B,
Alright,
but
B
yeah,
tier,
that's
yeah.
fine too. Yeah.
Alright, next up we have Archeops and Neil. I think this is people will be split on this one. Uh
Yeah.
I think B tier is fair for Archeops. I think a lot of people, myself included, like Lugia. I can acknowledge though, for a lot of its existence, this was too broken. I don't think people are gonna miss Lugia, besides the people who play it.
No.
I think B tier is fair for Archeops.
Yeah, I hated this card. B is good.
Okay, like we have Zapdos, the one that does plus 10 damage. Like, I do not care.
C.
See, yeah.
Peoria?
Yeah. I think we should reserve that.
Nah, at
Alright.
least it was playable.
Alright, we have Ditto and the one that uses attacks of Pokemon to discard.
I actually think this might be Peoria. Like, what deck was
There
really
was like a
using this?
control deck that people played with this.
Okay, I guess. I don't know. This doesn't do anything for me.
Whatever. You know
Uh,
what? Okay, Zapdos is going down there too. That's how we're gonna use the tier. It's like stuff we don't care. It's leaving. Alright.
all right. Yeah, don't care goes to. Okay, I like that. I like that.
Okay, next up we have some of the Regis from the Regigigas trio. We have Lecky, Gigas, and the Regidrago that draws cards.
Hmm.
I think Regigigas
Um,
was kind of a cool deck, like the Ancient Wisdom one.
yeah,
I
I
never
liked it too.
played it, but I don't know. Hate putting it in like the
I
B.
think all of these are a little different. It's kind of different from Lost Box.
Yeah,
They all have different kind of applications. Like I played against someone playing Reggie Drago like 2 weeks ago. Like that card's still around just because like it was good in Cloth Box. As like a draw pivot.
yep.
So like I think if we put Gigas in B because it was a cool archetype. I think Regieleki, just because of how much it did for control, also probably goes to B.
But are you gonna miss
And
this
then
card?
I'm not gonna miss it, but I
Okay,
think it was
see,
good.
yeah, I'm putting C tier then.
This card was really good in control mirrors. Not that I
All
ever
right,
played a
whatever. You
control
can be in
mirror,
B.
but
But okay, then I feel like Gigas needs to be A tier. It's definitely better than the other Regis.
that's fine. And I think
Okay.
Drago also belongs in B tier because
Yeah,
it had
I think
use.
that's fair. Okay.
Okay.
There's a Bascu Leech on this list. I don't even know what this does.
I was gonna ask, what the hell is that card?
Peoria tier straight away.
Sent to Peoria, one-way trip to Peoria.
All right, we have Block, Snorlax, and I feel like a lot of people are gonna be split on this one too.
I would like to blast this thing into the sun. But I mean, because it was a good archetype, I think it belongs in B.
Yeah, I think it was one of those things where it's like I never really hated playing against Snorlax unless I was playing like my Chenpao deck. As a
Hmm.
Lugia player, I actually really enjoyed playing against Snorlax for the past like year. I think it was like a cool archetype that I think a lot of people enjoyed. You always had to respect, but yeah, it's not like a card I'm gonna be like I'm not missing Snorlax. That's for sure. There's a
Yeah, I don't
Phoebus
miss it either.
here. I don't know what this Phoebus does. You're going in Peoria tier. I think it has Ascension. Okay, Tempting Trap Mawile. That was a cool card.
Yeah, it was really random. Like it would win a lot of random games. Yeah, I think it belongs in like C. It's not Peoria.
Yeah, I'm not gonna miss this card. But I guess because we still have cards that have that effect. We have like Sob. There's like a Maractus that has the effect, kind of.
Practice.
Yeah. All right.
Yeah, we can start tearing through. We're in like the niche area now.
All right. We have the Banette, the one that goes to Lost Zone and gives you a supporter. It was kind of cool, but like I don't really care that much. Like
Probably a C, bro.
C tier. Gengar, the one that you put on your bench and put 3 damage counters for the
Oh,
Zoroark deck.
classic. Very cool card. I don't think it was ever used very well, so I might have to go to Peoria,
Yeah,
Illinois.
I do not care about this. All right, Mantine, the one that's put a Pokemon for your opponent's Discord onto the bench.
Yeah, that's I don't know. I don't feel like it really helped control that much anyways. If
It
probably
was
goes to
sometimes the
Peoria though.
Snorlax, but like, yeah, I don't really care that we lose this
But then you
card.
give up a turn of like retreat lock-in, right? So I don't know.
Yeah. All right, I think this is one of the big ones, and Radiant Greninja.
Hmm.
This might be the best card that's rotating. Where does it go, and how much we're gonna miss this?
All the way to the top.
An S tier for you?
For me. It enabled so much. You think of like some of these decks without playing Greninja. Like you think of like Palkia in its prime. You think of Lost Box in its prime. You think of like you can think of 1,000 decks that this card simply just enabled because not only did it draw 2 cards on a basic Pokemon, it also discarded energy. Another big one like Roaring Moon using Dark Patch. Any of the Sada's decks, right? Um, this card just did so much. And then you think about that, and they gave it a broken attack. 90-90 in a format with Palkia V-Star. I think this one goes straight to the top. I'm going to miss it personally, and I don't think other people are going to realize, and I guess myself included, we're not going to realize how much we miss it until it's gone. It's one of those cards. And I think if we went back here and we did the top 10 cards of all time, this would be on the list.
I think that's a fair assessment of like where it'd be on the list. I don't know if I'm gonna miss Greninja that much though. I feel like this kind of chokeholded or choked out like a lot of other Radiants from seeing play because it was like
It
too
did.
good. And then like I don't know, like I feel its attack was so broken. Like you had to play Manaphy for the longest time because of this card.
Yeah.
Not lame.
Mm,
I'm not gonna miss it as much, but I'll put it in S tier, because I put Bibarel in S tier.
okay.
All right, next up we have Radzard. I think this is my favorite Radiant. I liked Radzard. I think having a one prize attacker that kind of like scaled as the game went on was like awesome. It saw its way into like a lot of different archetypes. Kind of started with Lugia, and then like obviously the Charizard deck. We've seen it in Lost Box. I'm sure we saw it in other decks. I just can't think off the top of my head, but I don't know. I think Radzard was just cool, like just a one prizer that did big
Yeah.
damage.
It's just Bear before Bear was Bear, I guess.
Yeah,
Yeah, it's probably like a solid A tier, I think, for me.
yeah. I'm gonna miss Radzard. All right, Alakazam. I never really played this, and I know you've played this card. Where do you put? Do you
Mhm.
like Alakazam? I think its effect is probably one of the cooler ones of the Radiants.
Yeah, I guess this one has a special spot in my heart personally, just because of how much it enables, and what I was able to do with it, kind of. So I guess I'm a little bit biased, but what I will say is, at least in the decks that used it, the card was irreplaceable. Like that is the card that allows you to win games a lot of the time. And I really liked Alakazam. I know it wasn't too prevalent in its like midlife. Like it was good with Rapid Strike Urshifu back in the day, and then it was good at the end with Dragapult. I know it didn't have much in the middle, but probably B tier, I would think.
Oh, okay, I thought you were gonna say A tier. Yeah, for me, it's like I
Nah,
think it's one of the cooler effects. Like I don't hate an A tier for it, but all right, we'll put B tier.
yeah, B tier's fine.
Sneasler. I don't know. I don't like Sneasler that much. Like I think it enabled some degen stuff. Uh, I mean the cloth
Again,
deck is
blast us into the
cool, but
sun. I didn't like this, man. This poison donking thing. Nah, nah, nah. It's Peoria for me.
all
I will
right,
not miss this
Peoria,
card.
Peoria.
Yeah.
All right, now we're on to the V Pokemon. We have a lot of heavy hitters, and I looked at this list. The first one being Rotom V, a card that kind of saw like zero play, and then by like the end of its life cycle, like last year and a half, like it was seeing play in pretty much all of these evolution decks. It even started seeing play in aggro decks like Miraidon. So Neil, are you gonna miss Rotom V? That was the question.
I think so. I think I'll miss it. I don't think I'll miss it as much as others who play Zard and like Pult with Rotom and stuff, or Control. Um, but yeah, no, I think the card was good. I think it was kind of just it was a card that was nothing for a long time, right? It was kind of just like, what am I doing with this card? Why do I want to scrap short for tools? Until people really realize like this is just a draw three. So for me, it's a B. I don't think it's anything too crazy.
Yeah, I agree. I think it was a cool card, enabled a lot of really cool archetypes. I just never really was a person who played the decks that used it.
Yeah.
Card I did use a lot is Luminion V. I think we're
Mm,
definitely going to feel the effects of losing this one. I think a lot of almost every deck used this card effectively. Any deck that played Forest could use this really well. Any deck that used Arven. I don't know if it's quite S tier
Fish.
for me because I feel like it made
Yeah.
getting boss too easy, but it's definitely like a card I'm gonna miss.
Fish is a. I would actually put this in S tier just because I thought the card design was so perfectly balanced. It had like a shuffle back effect. It was low HP on the bench, as it should be as a support Pokemon. And that's like when you think back about like Tapu Lele, we've had this conversation where like Tapu Lele had way too much health for what it was, and that's what kind of made it broken. Fish always felt like extremely balanced to me. You put down Fish, you know it's a liability, but it's also going to help you a ton during your turn. And I think that's what's kind of missing with Fez. Fez is one of those cards where if it had 28 less health, I'd like it a lot more. And I feel like Fish is just a perfectly designed card. Couldn't get locked against Snorlax as well. Like if you had a water energy in your deck, which I really liked, and it was one retreat. So I mean, I have no complaints with Fish. I think we're all going to miss it a lot, and I think not having a supporter fetch ability in the format will kind of suck for a little bit. So for me, it's an S.
All
You're
right,
free to
I'll
feel
put it.
differently
No,
if you
let's put
want,
it in.
but
I agree. I was on like the edge for me.
yeah,
I like Fish a lot though too. All right, next up we have Raichu V. I don't care about this card. I know if you play Miraidon, you like this
yeah,
card.
yeah. I don't really care.
C
C tier
tier.
probably.
All right, Raikou V.
This card is a lot cooler. Had a lot
Yeah,
more application. I think this probably goes to B.
yeah. I mean, a lot
I
of
was
spots
always a
played
fan.
this.
Yeah, I was always a fan of Raikou and Suicune and Entei, like the card designs. So this one
Yeah,
probably goes to B for me.
yeah. I think so. It's cool. Luxray V. Kind of just like a control card. Um, Honestly, I think I didn't really play control, but I thought Luxray was kind of cool. Like it kind of made some archetypes cool. I would also put this one in B for me. I always thought it was fun to like watch people play control. I think Luxray was like a staple of that type of style.
I'm kind of torn on this one. I think it's yeah, B is probably the safest place to put it. So I think we put it in B. But the card was really, really impactful or really, really bad. There was no real like in between on this card. If you hit with it, it's like insane. If you don't hit with it, it kind of sucks. So B is probably fine. I think it had like a very niche usage, and for that reason, I don't think it goes higher.
Yeah. All right, NTV. I mean, I didn't really ever play a deck that played this.
Yeah, it's another one where it had its moment with like Entei Valiant for like a week and then died. So I think this one was the least impactful of the three dog trio guys. So I think it's probably C for me.
Well, I think Suicune was less impactful, but
Suicune when it came out was broken.
well, it had the Ludicolo deck, but it fell off like I feel like really fast.
Yeah, so when it came out, it was Evolving Skies. It just like that deck dominated, bro. It was so good. And then you played it with Ice Rider, came out the next format, so it was good for a while. I do agree with you that I think it was a little probably C tier as well with Entei, but I don't know. Entei has not done much in my opinion.
Yeah. I mean, like, yeah, like I don't really care it's leaving. Delphox V. I actually think Delphox V had a really cool attack. It was used in
Yeah,
cool decks. It just never really, I feel like, got to see as much play as it could have.
probably C.
Yeah, it's like a C. I'm not gonna care. Hey, Drapion V, Aneil. Where's Drapion go?
No, no, no. Send that thing to Peoria, bro.
You're
I don't
already
ever
not
want
gonna
to see
miss
that
it.
card
Yeah,
again.
I think this is just really
I was
bad.
such.
It's really bad game design, I think. It's like we messed up building a deck, so we had to literally print a hard counter to it. Yeah, like a
They
card that looked like
tried
a
like
sped.
4 hard counters before this one too. Keep
Yeah.
that in mind.
So no, I agree. I think Drapion goes into Peoria tier. Bad card design.
Hated that card.
All right, Neil. This next card, you might have to veto it, but it's an S tier card for me. The Weird Ear V. This is actually my favorite card in Lugia, in like the current iteration of Lugia. I love this
Yeah.
guy. He's so fun. Like you just like put all the energies onto him. You basically tell your opponent the game is over because you're triggering a gift from me next turn. I love Weird
Yeah.
Ear. I am gonna miss this card personally. So
I think we can balance it at an A tier. I think that's fair. I personally would put it in like C tier because I don't care.
all
But
right, this is
just because
gonna
you have it in
be
S.
this is gonna be Ciaran veto S tier. You know you can put a card in
You
S
want to go
tier.
S tier? I mean, you're in charge of the screen share. I can't really do much about it. So go ahead, man.
All right, and, you know,
Go ahead.
we both get a couple where you could just put it straight S tier with veto the other person.
God forbid we try and provide a balanced opinion.
No, This is it goes S tier.
This
I
is
love weird here.
great dictatorship. All right, bet. Bet. We got Oranguru V. All right, this card is another card that did not do anything until like its last 2 months of life. This is going to C or it's going to Illinois. It's up to
Yeah,
you.
I don't care about a Ranguru. I
All right,
also like
there you go.
enabled some degen stuff with the Donk combo.
Yeah.
Pidgeot V.
Hmm. Cool card.
Yeah, it was a cool
Great
card.
utilizer for Sealstone. Outside of that, didn't have much impact on my life. I never played control, so I don't really care. Do you feel any differently from that?
Well, I think it was like in like Lost Box for a while too. I think it was cool
Hmm.
card design in the sense that like it doesn't really do much except like be a forest holder.
Hmm.
And you have to put in your deck, or like it helps you like not deck out. I think B tier is fine. I think it was a cool card.
Yeah, I like
All
it.
right, we're at the V stars now, Aneil. I think these are like the stars, probably the stars of the show. The
We
first
do
one we
like us some
have
V
is
stars.
Dialga V star, Aneil. I'll let you guide us here because I know you've played this deck. I haven't really played this deck.
Yeah, this one's pretty high for me actually. I thought the card was always like so cool, and I got a chance to play it. I don't even remember what tournament, but I played it a couple times. I played it with our Ciaran. I think it had a big impact on the format, not as much as its as his brother. I don't know what is Palkia to Dialga, whatever
I don't
relation
know.
they are. Um, not as much as Palkia, but I do think Dialga earns a solid B tier at least in my
Oh,
opinion.
I thought you were saying A tier. I think it's like its attack is one of the coolest attacks in the game. I was gonna say A tier. I think it's really awesome.
Yo, I'm down for A tier, bro. Let's do
Because
it.
like I've never played it at a tournament. Whenever I would like test games, like I love Star Chronos. I think it's so much. Like taking an extra turn is just like awesome. And I think
Hmm.
it was very balanced. Like it was very hard to do its attack. Like I think the payoff is worth how much effort you have to put setting it up. So I like it.
Yep.
Palkia. I actually do not like Palkia. I think when Palkia came out, it was too broken. I think the cards it comboed with, like doing stuff like Ranja, I thought was dumb. Uh,
Yeah.
but by the end of its life cycle, like the past like, few months, I feel like it's been very balanced. But for a while, I really did not like Palkia.
This is absolutely the most tricky part of this list. I think that these V stars is definitely the trickiest part because almost all of these had a turn being broken. Between Dialga, Palkia, Giratina, Arceus, even Goodra had its time, Lugia and Regidrago, they all had their time being broken. So how we rank this is going to be important. So here, I think I personally dislike the card. But I think in terms of importance to the format, in terms of what it provided to Pokemon, it's an S tier card. I didn't like it that much, but I mean, over its time, if we're talking like how good the card was, it's an S tier. But I know we're talking about how much we'll miss it, so I think it's a solid A tier.
Oh, I was gonna say like C tier or B tier.
You don't care about it at all?
No, I don't like Palkia. I'm not
All right,
missing
B
this
tier's fine.
guy. Yeah. All right. Giratina, Neil. I know you like this card. Where's Giratina go?
Yeah, this is my S tier, bro. I miss
S
this.
tier.
I'm
All
gonna miss
right.
this card a lot.
Straight to S tier.
Yeah, yeah. I don't even think it needs an explanation. It's just Tina. Like Lost Tina was such a fun archetype, and Arc Tina as well came out of it. Like there's so many cool combos with this card, and I thought it enabled a lot of skill in the format. It's kind of how I looked at Tina all the time because it wasn't the easiest thing to pilot, and there was that point in time, I think it was last year, the year before, where those really skilled players won like 3 or 4 straight majors with Tina, and nobody could touch them because the deck was so skill intensive that they just kept skill diffing everybody. So I love Tina, me personally. I mean, you're free to veto that, but I really do enjoy it.
Yeah, I think like I never was a huge Tina enjoyer, but I will say like it felt very fair. Like I never felt like there was a format where I'm like Tina is like unfairly broken.
Yeah,
And like you said, it was like an intricate deck. It had like fun gameplay against it. So no, I think Tina in S tier is completely fine.
sweet.
Cool. RCSV stars
This
the
one you
next
should
one.
lead on. You should lead on this one.
I just like never liked Arceus. Like I just thought it was like incredibly mid. And then like the format where it was really good was like one of the worst formats in my opinion with like the Inteleon and all that.
Hmm.
So me
Yep.
personally, I will not miss Arceus at all. I know you like Arceus though, so you're gonna have to
I
carry its
don't know
ranking
if I would.
here.
I don't know if I'd call it a like. There was a year, so 2022. There's a year where I got more than 75% of my championship points in the year with Arceus V Star. I think it was 2022. I had like 500 championship points with Arceus. And the reason why that happened is because Arceus was so versatile that I never got bored of it. So you're going Arceus with different partners every single time. And for me, at one point, I really did like Arceus. I'd put it at A tier. In its current state, I would probably put it at B tier because I think the card was a little too good. I don't think I'll miss it that much. It was obviously not very good towards the end of its life, but yeah, I think it's probably B tier. At one point, if you asked me this, I would have put it in S tier. But given
My
where we're at,
my problem with Arceus was when it was good. I think it made games way too boring because between its ability and like the Inteleon line, like every game
yep,
played out the exact same. Like there
yep,
was literally no variety in games. You were playing with your deck face up. So, and then I don't know, afterwards,
You were
it was
able to
just,
pick
like,
out
mid.
anything in your deck. Like it was insane.
Yeah. Then it was just, like, mid. Alright, they have Darkrai V-Star on this tier list. I mean, this, like, never really took off. I think
Yeah, I
it was
don't
kind
care
of
about
cool.
this.
I don't care. You can go in C tier. Zoroark V-Star.
Should go right
Cool,
next to his buddy
cool
Darkrai.
card, but you can go next to Darkrai. Alright, the next one I think people do like, the Goodra. So
Hmm.
for a while, Goodra was its own deck. We had the Lost Goodra, we had the Arceus Goodra, and then like at the end of its lifespan, it was basically just like Regidrago attacker. So I actually enjoyed Goodra. I thought it was cool. Where would you put Goodra?
I'm gonna miss this dearly. I'm gonna miss this absolutely dearly. Gudra's one of my favorite Pokemon as well, so I want S or A for this one. I'll leave it up to you.
I think A tier for Goodra.
Sure.
I enjoy Goodra as well, even though I never really played
Yeah.
decks with it that much. I always thought it was a cool. I like tank effects. I think Pokemon would be more fun if there were more decks like Goodra.
Lost Gudra, I think, was one of my most like enjoyed decks of all time. I love that deck, and I don't know. I just thought it was always a good card. Just it never really found its home. I don't think. I thought it could have been a lot more when I saw the card initially, but
Yeah.
cool card. We'll miss it. A tier's good.
All right, now next up, Lugia V-Star.
Just put it there, man.
I'll put it in A. I don't need to put it in S.
Okay.
I'm not gonna miss it like that. I think I had a lot of good times with Lugia, but I think I'm ready to move on.
Yeah.
But yeah, we've already done enough Lugia glazing on this podcast. So
Yeah, I would not be upset if I never saw this card again.
yeah, I think
Personally,
a lot of
so
people
A
are
is
gonna
fair.
feel like that, especially the people who survived the broken Lugia format.
Yeah.
All right, our last V-Star, and then we have the Drago V-Star. Where does Drago V-Star fit in?
Special spot in my heart because of Worlds, but honestly, in hindsight, it doesn't mean that much. I think it was a very, very good card, but I think towards the end of its life, it got a little too oppressive when Ciaran got printed. So for me, it's probably a solid B.
Okay, I think that's fair. I actually think Regidrago is almost fair S tier decks for we've had in a while. I didn't mind it that much.
I thought Ciaran just oppressed too much. That was my only complaint with it.
That is fair.
That was it.
Cool. All right, now we have the supporters. We have Colress's Experiment. I mean, this is basically just like Lost Box. Some decks did play this. Arctura played it for a little bit. I'm sure
This
there's
is
some
A
other
tier
decks
for
that
me.
played it. Yeah, you like Colress? Sure.
I just like I thought the Lost Box engine was so cool. I never really played it towards the end of its life, but I thought at the beginning it was so cool, and it added a new dimension to the TCG that we didn't have in a long time because it was all just dominated by Arceus and Palkia and stuff like that. So seeing Lost Box emerge when it emerged in Lost Origin was really refreshing. So for that reason, I think it belongs in A.
Cool. All right, we have the Misfortune Sisters.
Me no like.
All right, that's a C tier. I don't really care about Misfortune Sisters. It was kind of funny.
Such an
but...
RNG card, man.
Yeah, Silene is still playing a lot of decks. I think I would also put this C tier because I hate the flip effect of it.
Yeah, me too.
I think it's just again like bad game design.
I think we agree in a lot of like the supporter RNG kind of mechanics. Like they're mostly undesirable.
Yeah. All right, next up, Thornton. I think Thornton is actually a really cool card. I didn't really use this card much, but I think it was always a fun card.
Yeah, this is a really interesting one. I again personally didn't use it too much. I thought it created a lot of random game states, and I also at times thought it was a little too good. Like, why is like this fish turning into a Charizard? Like, always thought it was a little strange. But the card was really good when pulled off correctly, and I think it allowed for a lot of skill expression. So for that reason, I think it belongs in B or A.
Yeah, I think B tier is fair.
Yeah.
Yeah. Lance. I mean, Dragapult
it's my
card.
dog, bro. I love that card. Like Dragapult does not feel the same after rotation.
No,
of this card.
Jacques feels way worse.
Jacques is terrible. You can't get Dreepy or third guy. So for me, this is like an A. But I know most people are not going to care about that because it's just recency bias.
Well, it's our list now, so it goes in A.
God bless.
Emails cheer. I'm not missing this dude. Are the
me
people? I
neither.
think it's not just one guy.
I think that's going to Peoria, isn't it?
Peoria tier. All right, sure. Team Yells cheer.
I think so.
Welcome to Peoria.
Yeah.
All right, Roxanne. Neil, what do you think about Roxanne?
I love this card. I'd put this in A personally.
I think so too. I think Roxanne is a very fair card. Like when I think of fair cards, I think of Roxanne.
Yeah. When I think of Roxanne Path, those were not fun times, but after it got better.
Yeah. All right, Neil. The next card. For me, it's an S tier card, the Irida.
I agree. Yep.
Yeah, I love Irida. It didn't ever feel broken, but it single-handedly made like Chun-Pao viable. I know I said I didn't like Palkia, but like it did make Palkia very viable. We even saw like Gardevoir playing this card sometimes. So
Goldengo played this card.
Goldengo played it, yeah.
Lots of cool intricacies with Irida. I mean, in the past, you think about cards like Volkner, like those like unconditional search for one of this type and then an item or whatever else it is. I always thought they were cool. I like the unconditional search of Irida. It just feels like a consistent kind of you know what you're getting kind of card, which I really enjoy.
Yeah.
And it allowed for a different kind of game state a lot of the time where you're able to kind of grab like Ninja, Poffin, or whatever. Like, you're able to just kind of create combos. So for that reason, I think Irida is an S tier. I'll miss it a lot.
Nice. Roseanne's backup.
Never cared. Never will.
I'll put it in C tier because I played in Lugia once. Right.
Sure.
Who's this? Choi?
Choi? What is this, bro?
I forget what Choi does. Do you know what Choi does?
Nah.
Choi. Oops, not shopping. I don't want to buy Choi full art.
You want to buy Choi?
Each player reveals their hand. Draw 3 cards.
This is just not serious, bro. All right, put it in S tier. I'm gonna miss it.
Choi, bye. We're gonna miss you, Choi.
Oh, bye, Choi. Love you, man.
All right, canceling Clone Aneil. I like this card.
Yeah, cool card. Man, like Kalagna. Could go B or A, I think.
I think B is maybe fair because I think it was annoying to get cloned in Moonlight Shuriken. But I think it was actually a very fair tech card for a while. Like, you know, like playing a card that can shut off stuff like Snorlax, shut off stuff like I'm forgetting what the main card you were shutting off with this was, but I know there's a lot that you're trying to shut off with Cologne, but like Cornerstone or something. Like I thought it was a cool card that never felt too broken. Mainly just with Greninja.
There were very few things you could really do with it. Like, the applications were very few and far in between just because of it's only on your turn. But yeah, no, definitely a cool card. And it was rare. It was never a dead card, right? You could always burn it, which was cool. So supporter of Cologne for sure.
Yep. Dark Patch. I feel like it was way less impactful than the first time around.
Yeah, definitely. I framed my ones behind me, and I never needed them throughout the entire legality of this new Dark Patch. So for that reason, I think it's probably gonna be a B or a C for me.
I think C tier.
I didn't do that much this time around. Like, it felt like it was gonna be broken at some point, but it never was.
Yeah. All right, the Energy Lotto.
RNG. We're not fans.
Yeah, C tier. I'm the RNG. It's just like, I don't know. It wasn't that good this format. All right, the Feather Ball. I enjoyed.
I really love this card.
Yeah, when I was playing Trapagos.
A tier.
Honestly, low-key A tier, bro. I loved going Noctowl for like Candy Feather Ball.
Yeah, I loved going like Feather Ball for Mew V or Mew V Max whenever you wanted. It's kind of broken.
Yeah, I was building like a bunch of Trapagos decks for post rotation, and like I was trying to make I'm like, oh, let me make a Pidgeot version. And I typed in Feather Ball. I'm like, oh, this is F block.
It's tough.
Like, I don't want to go Ultra Ball Candy.
Yeah, that sucks.
Yeah. All right, Heavy Ball. I think a lot of people miss this card. I think this card was like insanely S. I don't know if I missed it that much, but I think S maybe is fair. I kind of wish the card just said pick a Pokemon. Like, I think I would have preferred that. But even with the restriction of it being basics, I think this card was pretty good. I think a lot of times we see the way you interact with your prizes as like a supporter, and that's just like too slow. So this was just like, I felt like a very fair card, right?
Yeah, like, this one is so interesting. I think my hot take about this is I think this is the best item we're losing. For multiple reasons. The first reason is it enabled one-ofs all the time. So in a format without Heavy Ball, I struggle to see how Greninja is as impactful as it is, or Radiant Charizard for that matter. Like, there are decks that just played Radiant Charizard as its attacker because you had Heavy Ball. Heavy Ball also, in my opinion, was good for the game because when you played Heavy Ball, you didn't have like 4-minute prize searches, which I always appreciate. And I like the fact that Heavy Ball kind of just it just allowed you to be a flexible kind of deck builder, right? Like, it was one of those cards where that one card inclusion allows you to not include another 2 or 3 cards. So for that reason, I think Heavy Ball is the most impactful item we're losing. And I might die on that hill, but it's S tier for me.
Nice. All right, the next one, the switching cart. I mean, it's a switch that heals.
It's a switch and a potion. Pretty good.
I don't know. I put it like, I don't care that this is leaving. Like,
sure. All right, C tier.
Yeah. All right, this card, I love this card. You know, the trekking shoes.
Me too. I agree with you.
Honestly, shout out Shugia. You're going to S tier for the shoes.
We're both dirtily guilty of playing 56 card decks, so yeah, throw that in S tier.
I love the trekking shoes. All right, vacuum. Where does the vacuum go? It's like a solid
I think
card.
it's less high now that Jamming Tower exists, but yeah, very, very solid card. Probably B tier. I think it's fair.
Yeah, I mean, I think it made Lost Box way more powerful. Like, you know, letting you turbo. A lot of decks not Lost Box played it just for because the effect was really solid. So, Yeah, I mean, honestly, like in post rotation, we don't have good tool removal. We literally just have the jamming tower. So I think this card is going to be very missed by a lot of people.
Yeah, I agree.
I don't care that much though. All right, Mirage Gate. Where does this one go?
I think it goes in A with the rest of the pack, right?
Yeah,
I
I
mean,
think
like this card was insane when you think about it. Like when you look back on it, this card is nuts. Unconditional, like energy attachment to any Pokemon after getting 7 in the Lost Zone. That to me, pretty good.
yeah,
I don't think we'll see a trainer like that for a long time.
I agree. And you had to ramp up towards it. You had to like manage them. Get a loss in melee. So I thought it was like a fair card. And
Without
it,
this card, a lot of Pokemon never would have seen the light of day.
yeah, and it let you play like dual type Pokemon in your Lost Box deck, which was cool.
Hmm.
All right, capturing Aroma. I don't like this card.
I hated
Honestly.
this card personally. Yeah, did anybody like this card? It was just one of those things that you had to play. You had no better options.
Yeah. So
C tier.
C tier, I think is fair.
If you put
Or
it in B, I was going to tell you to like just remember all the times flipping a heads or a tails there when you needed the opposite lost you the game.
exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right, Forest Stone. This one, I honestly am kind of okay with this rotating. I actually low-key think this card might have been too good. But
I agree. I think this card was kind of bad for the game, to be honest. It was a little too unconditional for my liking. Just slap down a V and have this thing on it. I don't know, man. For me, yeah, I'm not sad to see this go. It was really, really good, and I think that's the reason. So maybe B's. I think it's fair.
yeah, I think these. Well, super effective glasses.
Don't care.
Oops. What did I just do? You know what? I think I'm gonna be alright here. I don't care about this card.
Yeah.
Collapsed. I actually love Collapsed.
Mm.
I might put it S tier. I think A tier might be more fair. I thought
I think A tier is good.
I just thought the ability to like kind of like get rid of liabilities, like it had some applications against decks like the Reggie box for a while. I don't know, like against Lugia, if they weren't paying attention, you could like make it hard for them to double chops. I always like Clop Stadium. I enjoy cards that like like let you get rid of liabilities or like they have some skill element to it.
I like it.
Yeah,
I agree with
I
A.
really like Collapse. One of my favorite cards. The Lost City.
I don't think I really care about this card.
Yeah, I don't care about this card either. You can go C tier.
Yeah.
Magma Basin. I think this was like a whatever card too.
Another don't care for this one.
There were some cool decks that played this, like the Radzard deck or the Gouging Fire. But yeah, I don't think it was that impactful. I'm not really gonna miss it.
I think in another format that card would have been really good. It just didn't really have the support it needed.
Yeah. All right, the Temple of Sinnoh.
This is a big one for me, actually. I like this in A. I thought it was the only card that helped nerf Lugia, which was important at the time.
Yeah.
Other than that, like it's also good against Arceus. Like just nerf anything that nerfed like the greatest cards of all time. I think is always good. I think that's it was a fair nerf. It wasn't
That's
like
what I think so,
Drapion
too.
level nerf.
Yeah, like
Yeah.
Drapion bad game design, Temple good game design.
Yeah, like and like Temple in a format where there's like a Marshadow that like or like a Pokemon that just bumps the stadium, I don't think is as good. But because there was nothing like that, I think it was very fair.
Yeah, agreed. All right, Neil. I
Mm.
would go S tier for the stop. It's one of my favorite.
I would
stadiums
also go
ever.
S tier.
Yeah. I know it's a lot of like aggro degen, but man, there's like nothing that feels as good as like needing to stop into like super retrieval or like cross switcher or just like ripping it off the stop.
Yeah, I sound like a complete hypocrite because I was just like dogging RNG, but I thought this was like the right kind of RNG. Like the amount of times you're like sitting there with a deck that plays like 4 items, and you're like, yo, whatever, I'm just ripping the stopper. I don't care, rip
Yeah.
the stop. It's just a fun card. And like when it came out, I remember no one thought anything of it, and it ended up making a really good career for itself. So shout out Pokestop. Shout out Pokemon Go, bro. They just got bought by another company. We'll see if that game. I mean, it can't go much lower than it already is, so we'll see.
Yeah. I mean, I've told the story on the pod before, but I haven't told it in a while. It's like I remember Worlds 2023. I was playing Chen Pao. Round 1, I'm playing against like Lost Box. My hand is like completely dead. I top deck Pokestop. I rip it, and I went like VIP pass, Ultra Ball. And my opponent was like tripping. And like next turn, I was just like, all right, Ultra Ball, Bibroll to Irida, Rare Candy, Greninja, 2 Comfies, game over.
Triggering. I'd be crashing out, bro. I don't know how to deal with that.
Yeah. I mean, to be
that
fair,
is a bad feeling. Like
my
your
hand
opponent's
was brick.
bricking. Yeah, your opponent's bricking, and they just get out of it off a Pokestop. It does feel bad, but I mean, like the card was so fun. How can you really be mad?
Yeah, I actually loved games where like my deck doesn't play Pokestop, and I was like ripping it like you said, and I'm like, all right, like
Yeah.
I had one game at a regionals once where like I'm like I really need to just natural and Archeops in the discard right now, and I went Pokestop and I was like hitting Archeops. I'm like I am the best player like alive.
I'm the best player alive. All right, what do we got? Three energies. All
Energies.
right.
All right, we have the gift energy. I actually love gift energy. Uh,
Yeah, you can put it wherever you want. To be
I'll
honest,
put
I
it
have no
A
opinion on
tier.
this.
It was fun.
Sure.
And I think it was actually like cool because like you had to actually play around it. Like there was ways to play around it, like not knocking out
Hmm.
by damage, gusting. You play temple, so I think it was cool. V guard energy. I mean, I'm not gonna miss this because V's don't exist anymore. But
I think in its prime, I would have missed it a lot. Like in Gudra, when you played one V guard
yeah,
energy, it was so good. I'd probably have this in B. Like I don't think it's that crazy. I think pretty sure I played it last year in Arctina. I don't remember what was in that deck,
yeah, maybe
but
like
I think
one.
it saw some use somewhere in my life. So I think B's fine.
All right, and the last card, the double turbo.
This is a tough one actually.
It's like weird because like a lot of cards are literally designed with this card in mind. I feel like. So
Hmm.
losing it like is gonna kind of change. I think how cards operate going forward. Um, I don't know.
I don't know how I feel about this. I feel like it's an A card.
It is. Am I gonna miss it? Like, do I like the game better when there isn't double colorless or double turbo type effects? Is what I'm trying to
I
get at.
personally don't think I do. I think I prefer double turbo in the
Okay, we'll
format.
put it at A then.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean,
Like, because
like,
colorless attacks, like I feel like they're meant to be double turboed or DC'd. Like that's always been my opinion on it. And like the utilization of DCE or DTE now, sorry, to just retreat is also really, really good.
yeah, yeah. I think that's fair. I mean, I played a lot of decks with double turbo. I like double turbo.
Yeah.
Uh, yeah.
There you go. That's our list of cards we're gonna miss, and there's probably gonna be a lot of disagreements with this. There's Choi in S tier right now,
Choi,
and there's
Choi
yeah,
MVP. Choi number one in
yeah.
S tier.
Yeah, Choi number one, then Beebs. I don't think anyone else had this, but let us know down below what you think of our list. Don't dog us too hard because this list is one of the worst we've
You know,
ever made, I think.
is there a card that wasn't on this list that we should mourn?
Huh. Put me on the spot here. I don't know. Is there another card we missed? I can't even think of anything else right now. I'm like looking through my bulk file.
Neither can I, to be honest.
Yeah.
So,
Nah, nothing of note, I don't think. Yeah, I'm looking through my bulk. I don't see anything pressing.
all right, cool. Well, this is our list. If you disagree, that's tough, but let us
I
know.
I will say what I will miss, real quick before we hop off. I will miss yellow bordered cards dearly. Um, I think I've never been a fan of the silver border. I'm still not a fan of the silver border. I particularly hate how the hollow foils look. It just kind of they look fake to me. And it's never really grown on me. So RIP to yellow bordered cards. We're still going to use you as much as we can. All of our energies will be yellow bordered. All of our cards that have been reprinted will be yellow bordered. But shout out y'all. These are the last remaining soldiers of the yellow border crew, and we're going to miss them dearly.
I actually agree with you. I prefer the yellow borders as well. I just looked at some of my cards that are both.
Yeah. I hope someday they come back, but I don't have high hopes.
No.
Anyways, all right, we're good. Long ass episode, but it was a fun one for sure. We'll leave some info down below if you want to pick up some end games, some bucket hats, whatever you want. It's all down there. And next week we will be back with another episode. Let us know what you think of the tier list, and yeah, you got anything else, Ciaran?
Nope. Catch
All
you
right, we're
guys next
live.
week.
Appreciate y'all. See you next week. Peace.
Later.